In my work as a vicar in Baghdad, I see continually that we are totally reliant on Jesus. In my church, all my leaders have been killed. In the last few months, I've had over 90 people killed in my congregation. And I used to look at the suffering in the Bible of some of the first disciples and followers of Jesus, and I used to think nothing as bad as that will ever happen to us. And now I see worse than that happening almost every week. And yet I see how Jesus has provided for us.
Therefore, my dear friends, as you have always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much more in my absence, continue to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose.
Living in this world, we all take knocks that discourage us and make us think, how could we really love other people? But the Bible says that God acts within us to will and to do his good pleasure, so that we want to do what is right, and then he enables us to do it. And we have to live that out practically in this world.
Jesus said that the golden rule applies in whatever you do. So there's no relationship, there's no encounter with other people where it doesn't apply. The whole time we're being called to put ourselves in the place of the other person. So for instance, a teacher teaching adults or children, he needs to ask, how would I like to be taught this? How would I like this explained? For me as a doctor treating my patients, it was obvious. I needed to ask myself again and again, how would I like to be told bad news? How would I like things to be explained? But it applies in the ordinary conversations. Getting on the bus, if I was the bus driver, would I like people to smile and say good morning and be prompt with my business and not keep him waiting, have my money ready? So it's in the practicalities of life, it's earthed. Loving our neighbour isn't just a vague affection, a sentiment. It's a practical reality, and that is at the heart of the golden rule.
We can demonstrate Jesus' ministry by demonstrating his love. That's all we can do. And it's everything we can do. And by doing that, it really transforms us and it transforms those around us.
One of my favourite stories about Jesus is the temptation in the desert. He's being tempted by the devil to turn a stone into some bread for him to eat. He's hungry. He hasn't eaten in 40 days, and yet he resists. He won't use his power to meet his own needs. But there's another story in the gospel, isn't there, of Jesus seeing a hungry crowd of 5,000 men and women and children. And without a drop of a hat, what does he do? He takes someone's packed lunch and turns it into enough food to feed all of them. Jesus refuses to use his power to serve his own needs, but he will use his power to bless and help others. I think there we have an incredible model of what we as Christians must do with our power and influence in society. We can't use it just for our own benefit. We must use it to meet the needs of others.
So in a sense we have to ask ourselves, what does it mean to love anybody and everybody everywhere? 6 billion people to love we have. Well, in one way you could say it means cheerfully paying taxes, because it's taxes which employ the paramedics who rescue the people who've been mugged on the streets. It's taxes which pay for hospitals. It's taxes which pay for prisons, because love and justice go together. So in a way we can love people in far distant lands by how we care for them, in a sense pray for them and give money to aid agencies. And we can love our own neighbours next door as well.
There's an Old Testament scholar who refers to some of the Old Testament prophets as confronting power with truth. And I think that's what Jesus was doing in a major way when he confronted the religious powers of his day with the truth that God is interested not just in some kind of outward obedience, but in a real profound change of heart.
Isaiah was right when he prophesied about you hypocrites. As it is written, "These people honour me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. They worship me in vain. Their teachings are merely human rules." You've let go of the commands of God and are holding on to human traditions.
Like Jesus did, we're also invited to speak the truth to power. Not all of us will have the opportunity to speak to those who run the country, for example, but there are ways that we can speak the truth to power. There's the power of consumerism, for example, that controls our lives in so many ways in the contemporary world. Speaking the truth to that power might simply mean not buying the latest whatever it is that everybody else has and that we're feeling so pressured to buy. So we can speak the truth to power in our own lives on an everyday basis in that sort of way.